Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this 2019 21.5 inch iMac model. I believe it's A2116. It's on the bottom here. So if you look at the bottom of the stand, it's right there, A2116, right? There's a 4K iMac, and the customer said it's running really slow, so basically we're going to be upgrading the hard drive to an SSD. If you buy, you're going to need some adhesive to seal it back up. If you buy that, make sure you get this tool if you don't have a tool like this to open it already. Also, you can use a thin tool, but I feel that this works best because it reduces the risk of possibly damaging it. So anyways, we're just going to go into the edge between the screen and the aluminum housing, and we're just going to kind of work it back and forth, rolling it to cut the adhesive. Keep in mind that the original Apple adhesive, it has like a foam layer in between that makes it so you can cut it open. The replacement ones, they aren't as good like that, so to remove it after you put that kind of adhesive, it would be a lot more difficult, so keep that in mind. Usually if I end up needing to open it again, I would use isopropyl alcohol in between the edges to help remove the adhesive. You can sometimes use this and it helps get, like, peel it up a little, but again, the original adhesive works a lot better. I don't know why none of the places you can get the original type of adhesive with the foam that you can cut in the middle, but yeah, so usually you can tell if somebody opened the iMac before because I don't know where you would get that kind of foam adhesive. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and continue cutting the foam all the way around the edges. So we go just from the top and the side. I didn't mention, but you want to avoid the very center because the center is where the camera is and there's no adhesive there. So here, you don't want to push dirt and dust into that, right? So you can see now that we cut the adhesive, you can see it's separating here, and you want to go slow because if anything is attached, like cables in here, you want to make sure to get those out before you proceed. Also, if there's still some adhesive holding, you don't want to pull hard and then you can crack the glass. Okay, so let me see if I can somehow show inside here. It's going to be a little tricky. Alright, sometimes I have to do this with one hand if I can't get it to work with the camera. But yeah, so you gotta have the screen still slightly closed. Also on this model, the highest you can upgrade the OS to is Sequoia, which I think Tahoe is the latest, so it's one version older than the latest. So keep that in mind that time is ticking on how long this model will continue to work before they stop supporting stuff. Although it should last you at least another 4 years or so, if not more. Okay, and then, okay, so this connector, if you notice, you push down here. I don't know if I can, maybe I can show it. It's kind of hard to get in there. Okay, so in there, you push down here, and then you can pull it. The other side, you have to do the same, but the thing is, it's tricky because you have to kind of maneuver your hand in there. So you kind of, if I do it, you're not going to be able to really see because my hand's going to be in the way. But basically, let me see if I can do it with my thumb. I'm pulling up with my thumbnail, and then you can see how it's, I don't know if you can see actually, but you can see how we're pulling that out. Okay, and there we go. So here you can see this. You can see how it has like that little gap in the middle. This is basically somewhat like a spring-loaded thing, so you can push this in, and it releases this little dimple that sticks out and holds it in place. Okay, then we have this cable here. Let me see if I can make it stay focused on that. I don't know if it will work. But here, there's a metal latch that goes over. So I use my fingernail at the corner. I mean, you can also just go at this black tab here. Okay, so you can go at this black tab and you can just pull that up. But for me, that's harder than just getting my fingernail in the corner of one of these. So on this side, actually down here is easier. Like that, and you can see how I flip that out. Okay, once you do that, you kind of grab this and you want to pull straight back. Don't pull forward towards you or towards the back of the thing. You want to just pull it straight this way. Okay, so make sure you just pull it straight that way. You can kind of wiggle it, but there you go. Yeah, because if you pull it forward this way or pull it back that way, you can actually break this connector off the board. Alright, and I think those are the only connectors holding the screen in place. You can probably see, it's somewhat dusty in here. So I'm going to dust that out. Basically, I have a powerful electric air blower. I'm just going to blow all of this out. And then you can also, from the back here, there's the vent. So there's the vent hole back here. Okay, you can blow the air into that. And then also at the bottom, all these little slits on the bottom here, these are all air vents. So we're gonna have to blow all the air through all these holes and stuff to get all the dust out. But let's go ahead and peel the old adhesive away. So let me show you here. I'm gonna lift you guys up higher now. Okay. It's hard to record this stuff, but all right. So we have this adhesive here. I'm just using my fingernail to kind of peel it back a little. And once you get a little bit of it out, you can go ahead and peel this, okay? And you want to be careful because you have to keep holding the screen. You don't want to drop it. If you want to pull the entire screen out, I'm not going to do that because it's unnecessary for replacing the SSD or hard drive. The hard drive is actually right here. It's a 2.5-inch SATA drive, okay? And we just need to remove these 4 bolts to get it out. It'll be a little bit difficult to slide the new drive in because the connector, it's like pretty cramped. Sometimes I have to actually take the speaker out to make a little more room to make it easier. Or not really take it out, but remove, pull it aside, all right? If you want to remove the screen completely, there's a little tab here that has the adhesive, and that when you pull that, it will stretch the adhesive down here and let you peel it out. There's 2, one on this side and one on over here. Okay, so yeah, it's the, let me see if I can show you closer. Okay, so there you can see that tab right there. Okay, so this little tab there. Okay, anyways, the way I work on this is I usually will get a box, so that way I can lay the screen on something about the same height as the very bottom of the screen. That way I don't have to peel that adhesive out and then redo it. And there's a few reasons for that. If you undo that adhesive, then when you go to put the screen back, you have to be very careful to make sure that this lines up properly. If you don't line it up right, then you'll end up having some issues. So anyways, I have a box here that I can use. So you see this box, okay? And I'm just gonna let the screen kind of lay on that. All right, actually this box is a little short. Let me see, I can actually tilt it up like this and it's taller, and then that will be okay. If you want, you can also put something soft on top of it to help pad it a little. All right, so now let's go ahead and continue removing the adhesive here. Okay, so just peel this. Okay, and we'll peel this out. Removing the bottom layer here isn't really necessary, so if it separates like this, you can leave that, but it depends on the adhesive strip set you get. If you're getting one that's designed or cut specifically to the size of the iMac, then it will actually cover this portion of the antennas as well. So if that's the case, then you do want to peel all of this out as well. Okay, that way the new adhesive can sit there. If you don't peel that out, then that will be thicker than the rest, and then that's going to be the only place that the adhesive is going to stick or hold down onto the screen. So yeah, all right, anyways, we're going to continue peeling this out just like that. Okay, and then we got to go down the sides here as well. Right, so just like this, scrape it a little and then peel. Again, these ones you can leave. All right, so if you can separate this and you have just straight double stick adhesive, then you can actually leave this piece there. All right, but if you're buying the adhesive specifically for the iMac, then you're probably gonna have to peel this whole thing up. Let me actually show you. Let's see if I can show this. Sorry, it's hard to record this stuff because everything gets in the way. So, all right, so if you want, you can go ahead and peel this up as well. Let's see if I can without tearing it. because sometimes the short piece is difficult to separate if this is there. Okay, oh no, I rolled it on itself. Okay, so let me try and unstick this if possible. Oh no, I stuck it to itself. Yeah. Oh no, I tried to show this and now I made it so it's double layered. So I'm gonna have to trim a little bit of that off, but here you go. Now you can see this is kind of coming out separate. Okay, just like that. Slowly work your way down. But yeah, this foam here you can actually leave. It's just a foam. It's not, it doesn't adhere to the back of the screen. Okay, let's see, did that unroll enough? Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to cut it because, okay, let me cut the part that I accidentally rolled on itself. Alright, just because I don't want it to be too thick there and then it won't stick down properly. If you're wondering, this piece here that this foam is on, that's actually a wireless antenna. So they put that foam there to prevent like the metal from touching it, but the screen is just glass, so it also has like a plastic coating on it. So actually it won't cause any issues if you do remove the adhesive foam thingy completely and then don't put anything back there. But yeah, that's just how they do it from factory. All right. Okay, oh, this is wanting to tear off, so I might actually have to peel it off anyways. All right, I'm just gonna show the whole process because why not? All right, you have the little portion down here as well. Sorry if my arm or hand is in the way. I'm trying to peel it up. I might end up just having to peel this. Yep. Alright, let's just peel this foam thing from the antenna. Okay, move that out of the way, and then once we kind of start peeling down here, usually you don't need to hold that out of the way anymore. You can stick that back up. Good. All right, slowly peel this out. There we go. All right, so we're just gonna do this all around. You also need to remove it from the screen side itself. So this, same thing, I just use my fingernail to scrape a little bit, and then once I get a little bit of it peeled up, we can go ahead and grab and peel this. You want to go slow, because if you try and peel too fast, you'll end up just tearing it off. Okay, so there you go. Oops, even going slow, it tore off. Okay, and just kind of same thing, scrape it up a little, and then grab a portion of it. Okay, there we go. Alright, and we're just going to remove all of this. So we have also this one. Again, slowly peeling all of this up. Alright. So we're almost there. There's too much stuff in my way over here. Okay. And we gotta go ahead and peel this side as well. Okay. Peel that. There we go. Again, be careful not to get stuff on the little glass area there, because then you'll get dust or grease or whatever in between the lens, and then it'll be stuck there. Okay, let's get this one out as well. Right, on this last portion you want to go slow, but a lot of times, you see, I went slow and it still tore. So usually that happens, and then you kind of have to scrape this bit off, this little excess. Okay. Alright, then we have the remaining portion up here that we need to peel off. It's pretty straightforward, right? Just scrape a portion of it off or up, and then once you get it started, you can grab that and you can peel it slowly. There we go. All right, and then we got this. You don't really need to, I don't know if you noticed, but the adhesive, it has like some holes in it, and there's some holes at the top. Those holes don't really do anything. So yeah, don't worry about the adhesive not having holes. You can use any double-sided adhesive here, okay? Alright, so we're just peeling that. And hopefully this one, it might tear that little piece like before. Yep. I'll scrape that little corner. Okay, there we go. All right, so for applying the adhesive, okay, there's some dust in here I'm gonna have to clean out. But for applying the adhesive, I guess let me see if I can just put it in a way that I don't have to keep zooming in and out and in and out. Okay, maybe like this. All right, so for the adhesive, usually I have these adhesive strips from the larger models. I think the 27-inch or so, and these are usually the ones that are at the bottom. So at the bottom of the screen, it's like this, and this is the tab that you would pull to separate the adhesive. But I don't use that because I leave it attached like this. So I have these little pieces that I can always like reuse to put up here. Okay, so now we just need to check the height and then cut it to the right size. Okay, so we'll do that. And again, like I said, you don't have to have it going completely all the way, so you just need it about that size. So around where it starts curving, I stop at the flat portion because it's harder to cut like a little curve there. So we just have this, okay? Then we're gonna separate one layer here, okay? So I'm removing the clear portion. And then what we want to do is we want to line this up. If you want, you can cut a little corner edge of it to kind of have it follow the curve. So you can do like this. Okay, so that way it's like that. And then just line that up. Sorry, the camera's doing auto-focusing weird. But then we can go ahead and get this lined up. Okay. And you don't want to cover the silver portion. You just want it to be on the black plastic portion, okay? And we'll just slowly work our way all the way down. I'll show you a close-up after I finish. Okay. And here we go. So that's what we have. Again, you don't want to cover the silver portion, just the black portion, because the glass will stick to that. Alright, so I'm going to do that to the top and the other side, and then we should be good to go. Alright, we'll dust it and then we'll go ahead and work on the rest. Okay, so I have multiple of these. Alright, let's go ahead and check this side. So same thing. Cut the excess. Okay, this one I accidentally cut to this side, so I actually have to cut it this way. So I don't know if I can get on that corner here. I might have to cut this plastic tab as well. Yeah, I'm just going to cut the plastic tab as well. Okay, I'm going to cut it like... Wait, am I doing it right? Yeah, okay. Like that. Okay, so I cut it like this. Now we gotta peel off the clear portion, just like this. You could also peel off the white side, it doesn't matter. The reason I cut this side is because I need the tab sticking out of the computer to be able to easily remove it later, okay? So, alright, we'll line up the corner first. And then we'll work our way down. Try not to overlap it on the Wi-Fi foam piece. Okay. And we'll just work our way slowly down. Oops. I might have... I didn't mean to let it stick down yet. Let's peel that back up. Actually, uh-oh. I messed it up. Maybe I should take this one out and redo it. Because this adhesive, it stretches. So, if you look at this, it kind of stretched itself out. But, I didn't line it up right with this, so I'm going to take this out and do a new one. Good thing I have extra of this adhesive. Okay. Okay, this one actually I can use this side easier because this side is the one that has the thing tabbed the other way. Okay, peel the clear portion off again. Alright, so sorry, I'm struggling a little bit because the camera's in my way. Let me see if I can move you guys a bit better here, out of my way. And okay. I was worried I accidentally slightly overlapped it on the antenna foam. That's why I peeled it up. I don't think I did, but I just wanted to be sure because I left a bigger gap on the other side. Okay, here we go. Make sure that's all stuck down. Okay, now we just gotta do the top portion. Okay. Okay, let's let's see. So this, because it's so, actually, it should be okay. All right. Around there. Okay. Corner again. All right. So this one, because we don't have a really thin piece that goes right over the top here, so I'm going to actually start on this side just to get it as close as possible. If you want, you can cut a small tiny piece to put there, but it's not really necessary to have it completely covered like that. But yeah, we'll try and get it as close to here as possible. There we go. Then keep it up towards the top edge so that we're less likely to go over the Wi-Fi antenna foam. Actually, I'm not sure which antenna is what. There's Wi-Fi antennas and then there's the Bluetooth antennas. Okay. So I'm not sure which ones are which. All right, there we go. Stick that all down. All right, we have all these little pieces that we could cut there if we want. So maybe I'll cut one of these and then just split it in half if I can. So I can do on both sides. Okay, so this piece I'm gonna try and cut straight down the middle and then use that to put on both. Okay. All right. Now let's see, can I peel off the clear layer? Yep. Alright, and then just try and line this up. I'll put it on the outer edge first. Alright, we'll have just this little tiny gap there. Should be fine. Alright. And then the last little piece. Okay. Same thing, just line that up. Down. All right, then we got to get the last edge there. Okay. Alright, last piece. Peel off the clear one. Alright. Then I'm going to have to take this out to dust it and then install the SSD and we're good to go. We do have to put the OS on there. If you're wondering how you do that, you do Command Option P&R to get into the recovery mode. Okay, and then in the recovery mode you go to the disk utility, I believe it's called. In there you can delete the partitions to create a single one, APFS. Alright, GPT or something, APFS, the Apple thing. And then after you do that, you can go ahead and install the OS. You would have to sign in. If you need a video showing how to do that, I could actually, maybe I'll show that process if it comes up. but I might do it by booting from an external USB boot. We'll see. So I'll see if I can show you the other way first though, since other people won't be able to do the USB boot. Alright, let me dust this out real quick and I'll be back. Okay, I don't know where's a good spot to put you guys so that you're not blocking me, but hopefully here's okay. Alright, we're gonna switch over to a screwdriver now. I believe we're gonna need a T10, but let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and switch over. Okay, let's try the T10 Torx 10 first. If it doesn't fit, we'll switch to the T8. Oh yeah, it's definitely the T10. Okay, so we're gonna undo the 4 screws here. There's one on either, sorry, one here, one down here. Keep the screws in order because they are different size, shape, and lengths, and you don't want to mix them up. Okay, so we're just gonna get all these screws out. Again, we're using a T10 or Torx 10 screwdriver bit. Alright, once you get the 2 screws out, you can pull this out. There's this little rubber thing holding it. The connector's right there, which again is a bit blocked. So we are going to have to loosen and undo the speaker screws. The screws on this side are much shorter, so again, keep them in order. You don't want to mix them up. Okay. The top one is actually the top one is really short. The bottom one is smooth, and then there's a little bit of threading. These other two look about the same. Anyways, we can go ahead and get this out now. Okay, we'll undo the 2 screws for the speaker as well. That's what the speaker screw looks like, if you're wondering. There's 2 of them. Again, keep them in order. Okay, this screw seems like it might stay in there. So what we're gonna do now, we took those screws out so we can kind of pull it forward and then slide it over a little bit to the left. Okay, and now we have access to the SSD. All right, let me see if I can get the SSD out, or the hard drive. Right now it's a hard drive. We're gonna upgrade it to an SSD. Okay, so the customer brought me an SSD Samsung 870 EVO. I don't know why they didn't get an 890 EVO, but okay. Usually I would go with the Crucial SSDs, but anyway, so this is what the SSD looks like, basically same shape. So these rubber things are just holding in with friction. Okay, I'm gonna, right here, this little slit, the connector here, I'm gonna slide my fingernail between that and the drive. Okay, and that way we can disconnect the SATA connector there. Just like that. Okay, we do want to transfer this rubber piece over here. Okay, so this just peels off. So you just peel it off slowly like that. Okay, and I'm going to put it back the same way I took it out. So we have the other drive, the SSD here. We're going to line this up, and then we're going to go ahead and stick this on here. Okay, so what you want, because this drive is thinner, is to line it up with the smooth part here. Okay, so like that. All right, so this part will stick up a little. That's fine. We're going to do the same thing with the other rubber piece. Okay, peel that off as well. Pull from the sides. Don't pull from here. You don't want to snap this thing off. Okay, and then same thing. Just get this back on. If that's peeling up, push it down. Okay, and then we're gonna again just stick this down, work our way down, and there we go. All right, so now we got the drive into place. If you want to make it a lot easier, then, or I don't know, to me it's a lot more work, but if you want more room here to be able to plug the SSD in, you can actually take the whole screen out, and then there's a little bar that you need to remove. Then you can pull the speaker out completely. But again, I'm just moving it to the side so that I can kind of get my finger in here. Okay, and we're just going to do this. So what you want to do is you can actually tilt the SSD connector slightly, or the SATA connector slightly like that, and then line it up. I don't know how I'm going to show this. Let's see if I can move you guys to make it easier for you to see. I don't know if it will even be easier for you to see or not. But no, it's harder for you to see there. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. It's either going to be you can see, or you're blocking my way. And I can't do this if you guys are blocking my way, so okay, I'm gonna hold this like that, and we're gonna try and get this in here. Yeah, you guys are in my way. I won't be able to do this. Okay, I'm gonna have to just leave the camera like that. And we're gonna go on this side, okay? If only Apple made this like so it can easily come out completely, then this would have been easy, but Apple doesn't like to make things easy. They like to make things complicated. All right, line up the connector there. Okay, then now that you can get your finger in there, you can push that and push that. Okay, so get that completely on, just like this. Looks good. Now we can go ahead and slide these little rubber thingies back into place. Okay, now that that's in, you can actually get in there and try and pull it all the way. Make sure it's in completely, that connector. Right? Okay, so now we got the SSD in. We just got to screw the things back into place, okay? So we'll get the small screw here. I like to get my screwdriver there to hold it, and then use that to line it up, twist it backwards. You hear it click. I don't know if you heard that. You hear that? Okay. Then you can tighten that in. Get the second one. Get that in. Same thing, twist it backwards to hear it click, and then tighten it down. All right. And before we stick down the adhesive, we're going to test and make sure everything works. So you don't want to put the adhesive and then find out that it doesn't work, and then you have to take it all back out, because again, this kind of adhesive is even harder to remove. Okay, I'm going to loosely fit that screw first. We'll get the second screw. You want to make sure that this cable, the cable down there, isn't getting smushed by this, so you have to pull it down slightly. Okay, get that lined up. Again, make sure this isn't smushing the cable. Then we'll tighten this side in. Good. Okay, make sure it's nice and tight. Then we'll get this one in. And we're almost there. Okay, so now we gotta get the speaker screws in. So line that up. You want to look in the hole to make sure it lines up right. I don't know if you can see it on camera. You probably can't. But once you can see the hole lined up there, then you can go ahead and get that screw in. Okay. Good. And the last screw here, get that in. All right, there we go. I'm going to set the old hard drive aside because we're going to try and restore the data from there after we install the OS. Okay. The customer said that they wanted to try and get their data if possible. All right, so now we got to close the screen up. All right, so we're going to slowly lift the screen back up here. All right, I don't know if you'll be able to see. And now a little bit tricky because it's so cramped. We got to get the cables back in. Let's see if I can show this here. Okay, so again, we have this cable here. Make sure this latch is out of the way. And I have to hold it like this, okay? Then line it all up. And then get it slightly in, and then it's going to be annoying and try and pull itself back out, okay? Because you have to close the screen as much as possible. So if your hands are really big, this is going to be very difficult. All right, once you got it in slightly, we can now pull this latch over. And you can see at the top, there's a little like wing there. We can use that to help push it in all the way. And then the bottom one, because we can't reach in, we can grab the latch there. And, oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. But basically, I'm pinching the bottom of the latch and pulling it over. So, pinch that, pull that in. Okay. Okay. And then you want to make sure this latches. Okay, it should latch over all the way. If you can reach that, then you can do it that way as well to pull it. I can use my fingernail to do it. If you don't have fingernails, it'd be very tough to reach that. So that's why I leave my fingernails somewhat long. People don't like that, but makes my job easier, so. Alright, then we got the other connector here. So this is the LCD, LVDS, or whatever they call this connector. And then I believe this one's for the camera. And actually not the camera, what is this for? It's going down the sides. Oh, it might be for the lighting. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and get this. So just line this one up. Alright, once you get it lined up, just slide it in. And then again, I use my fingernail at the little edge of this to pull that. Okay, and that should be it. You can actually test it by trying to like kind of pull on it a little, see if it comes out. It shouldn't come out, and then make sure to just pull it back all the way one more time to make sure it's in. All right, now we just close this up. Again, we're not gonna seat everything yet, so I have this just like that. If you want to be safe, you can get a piece of tape and then wrap it over like this on from the front to the back, just so you don't accidentally drop the screen while you're like testing it. So let me go plug it in and then try and do the OS. Alright, so if you're wondering how to get to recovery mode, first thing you want to do, power it on. Then you're going to do Command, Option, and R. Command is the same as the Windows key. And if you hold that on boot, we should be getting the this little, not Windows, the globe. Okay, so click that, connect to whatever your Wi-Fi is. Okay, type your password, press enter, and we should be downloading the recovery stuff. So here you can see it's downloading the internet recovery. Alright, the recovery mode looks like it finished downloading and now it's starting up. So we'll see. It took quite a long time for it to finish downloading. Alright, now it's asking the language. We're going to go to English and continue by clicking the arrow here. Okay, and now we have the recovery. So it's going to install Sequoia, that's good, so I don't need to boot from my external. We're going to go to Disk Utility, continue. In the Disk Utility, we can see the Samsung one. Usually what I'll do is I'll click here and show all devices, just in case it has other hidden partitions. So we'll go to that. We'll click Erase over here. From Erase, you can call it whatever you want. Alright, I just called it Macintosh HD because that's the usual. Again, it's APFS. I'm not going to encrypt it, and then you want the GUID partition map, alright? I think I said the Apple one last time, but that was a mistake. You want GUID. Alright, so we'll click Erase. This will set up the partition for the SSD. Alright, should be relatively quick. Alright, we'll say done. Then we'll close this one. And now we'll go to reinstall OS, Mac OS Sequoia. Why'd the Wi-Fi disconnect itself? So for some reason it's disconnected, so we're probably gonna have to reconnect this, I think. Alright, it's looking for Wi-Fi. Let's see what happens if we continue without it. We'll say continue. And okay, it says you need internet. So yeah, click that, connect to your Wi-Fi. Okay, type in your password, press enter. Make sure it's connected, it'll turn white. Okay, now we'll go to reinstall Sequoia again. Continue. Continue. Alright, loading information. And we have the old hard drive, which we're going to connect with a SATA USB adapter. So we'll use that. Okay, so I'm going to use one of these to connect it to the USB. And then we can go ahead and when it says, do you have any information from an old Mac or something, or what do you call it, time machine backup, we'll connect that drive and then tell it to look at the old drive, and we should hopefully be able to pull all the data back over from that. But yeah, we'll wait for this to start. We can actually, since it's doing this and it saw the SSD, once the installation starts, I'm going to go ahead and peel the adhesive thing. So we're going to say agree, agree again. Okay, select the hard drive or SSD in this case, continue. And you can see it says it's going to take about 2 hours and however long. Okay, so here's the tape that I was talking about. I put this to help hold it so it doesn't fall over. Okay, and now we got to carefully hold this. I need 2 hands now, but basically we're just going to peel all the white things off. So let me do that and then I'll be back. I can kind of show this. Okay, so you can see I can peel this and you just do that. Okay, for the side ones, Same thing, we have these tabs. You can now peel that off. Okay, so I'm going to do that with all of them. Alright, so we got all the adhesive protective stuff off. So now we're just going to close the screen. And then you want to pinch all around here. You do want to wrap some tape like this on the tops and then on the sides, at least for 1 day, just so that way the adhesive can make sure to get a good grip. If you don't do that and people like to tip the screen forward, then the adhesive might not have a good grip, and then the screen will eventually fall out and rip the cables out. So you want to be careful with that. Okay, so I'm just going to pinch all this down, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so the installation says it's going to take about 2 hours and 52 minutes. I don't think it's going to take that long, but yeah, we'll let it keep running, and then I'll show you hopefully the process of migrating the stuff back, although it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Alright, so it got to this point. Let's go ahead and continue with United States. And here's the thing about migrating. So let me plug in the hard drive. Alright, now the hard drive is plugged in. We're going to start from a Mac, Time Machine, or Startup Disk. Okay. Continue. And we'll continue with the language. We don't need to set up this yet. Let's set up the internet. So basically connect again. Alright, continue. I don't know why it keeps asking the Wi-Fi, isn't it? It's already connected. But anyways, we'll let it connect. Okay, we'll continue. And now we wait for it to find the drive. Assuming it will find the drive. I don't know. It could be that the internal drive is completely dead, so it might not do anything. Okay, as you can see, now we see the drive there. We'll continue. Wow, it's super slow. Alright, now you'll see all the applications, your user account, I'm covering it, sorry, and then other stuff. So just select whatever you want to keep. I'll keep everything, and then we'll continue. Alright, after that it wants you to set a password, so set whatever you want and then continue. Alright, and now it's going to migrate everything, so just be patient, and once that's done, your Mac should be ready to go. That's pretty much it. Hopefully this video helped you guys out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.